What happened in Congress today was something most people never expected to see. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the man who led America's response to the worst pandemic in a century, sat before a Senate committee and refused to answer more than 100 questions. He invoked the Fifth Amendment. His own lawyer was thrown out of the room. The chairman threatened to hold him in contempt of Congress, and it all happened on live television.
If you are trying to figure out what actually happened and why it matters, this video breaks it all down in about 10 minutes.
Here is the situation. On July 29, 2026, Dr. Anthony Fauci appeared before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. He was there under subpoena. The committee chairman is Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, who has been one of Fauci's loudest critics for years. Paul has accused Fauci of lying to Congress about the origins of COVID-19, about U.S.-funded research in China, and about the lockdowns that shaped everyone's life for 2 years. This hearing was supposed to be Paul's chance to finally get answers under oath. Instead, he got something nobody expected: silence. Let me back up and explain how we got here. Rand Paul has been investigating Fauci for years. He believes Fauci played a role in funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, research that Paul says ultimately led to the pandemic. Paul also obtained what he described as diary entries from Fauci's government computer, sections of which he released to the public days before the hearing. These notes reportedly contained Fauci's private thoughts about lockdowns, school closures, and public messaging during the pandemic. Paul subpoenaed Fauci to testify. Fauci showed up, but from the very first question, something was different. When Paul asked Fauci to state his name for the record, Fauci did. But when the questions turned to COVID origins and his past testimony, Fauci gave the same answer every single time. He said, and I am quoting here, "On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution." He said that more than 100 times, over 3 hours, on every substantive question. Whether the question was about gain-of-function research, about his previous sworn testimony, about emails, about funding, about anything that mattered, the answer was the same: Fifth Amendment, decline to answer. Now here is why that is significant. The Fifth Amendment protects people from being forced to testify against themselves in criminal cases. It is the same right that allows someone to remain silent during a police interrogation. But watching a government scientist who once stood at the White House podium and told the entire country what to do, now sitting in silence, refusing to answer questions from the Senate, that is a visual most Americans did not expect. Senator Paul did not hold back. In his opening statement, he laid out a long list of accusations. He said Fauci had directed U.S. taxpayer money to risky research in China. He said Fauci had privately supported lockdowns while publicly claiming to be following the science. He cited the diary entries he had obtained. He said Fauci was responsible for policies that he believed caused enormous harm. The atmosphere in the room was tense.
Paul dominated the hearing. With Fauci declining to answer, Paul used his time to lay out his case directly to the cameras. Democrats on the committee pushed back hard. Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, the ranking member, called the hearing a politically motivated attempt to entrap Fauci. He praised Fauci's work during the pandemic and accused Republicans of wasting the committee's time. At one point, Fauci's lawyer David Schertler tried to speak. He attempted to intervene on Fauci's behalf. Chairman Paul refused to recognize him. The lawyer kept trying. Paul ordered him removed from the hearing room. Security escorted him out. That moment, a lawyer's client sitting in silence while his attorney is physically removed from a congressional hearing.